Hi everybody, welcome to the channel. There's probably been a million videos made about the recent attempt on the life of former President Trump at the rally in Pennsylvania. And of course, I've got to put my 2 cents worth in, but I'm going to do it a little bit different. I just want to focus on one key area or segment of what happened there. To start off, I've got a visual here. I know everyone's seen this probably 1,000 times. President Trump was right around, if you can see my cursor, right around the stage area. The shooter was elevated on this building, counter snipers back here, and supposedly this counter sniper group here was blocked by the tree. I'm told this is the counter sniper team that got the shot off that took out the guy who attempted to kill the former president. So that's been gone over 1,000 times, and people are talking about how lax Secret Service was, and then finger pointing to local law enforcement, and how in the world did something like this happen? I mean, I don't know. It seems unbelievable that people who are trained, this is their job, to protect the president from getting harm, which is usually assassinated with a bullet. I know nothing about security, guarding a person, or security setups or, that type stuff. But if someone had taken me to that area right there, to that stage, and said, if the president was standing here, where do you think people might be that would try to get a shot off? I mean, I might not point that out first, but I think I very quickly would have got around. Well, what about that building right there? Pretty, straight shot there, and it's elevated. It can, it's kind of unbelievable that they didn't have overwatch on that. People talked about the tower, having someone there. Well, yeah, you could have done that, or you could just put an officer up there on the roof, or you could have rented a man lift from Sunbelt, put it up out here somewhere, overseeing the whole roof complex there. I mean, it looks like it was something so simple to prevent. But with that said, because there's lots of videos made on that, I wanted to drill down to something a little bit more specific. And that is the counter sniper team that took out the shooter, that killed the shooter. My research has shown that the Secret Service counter sniper teams that was on scene that day, the sniper rifles that they were using is of the .300 Winchester Magnum caliber. That's a big round. To give you a little comparison, just 1 second. All right, right in here you see this is a 12 gauge shotgun shell. This is a .300 Winchester mag, which is what the counter snipers, a similar round. It might have been a little different bullet, but that's the size of the cartridge I've been using. That's the 5.56. That is the round the guy that attempted to shoot the president. This is what he was shooting out of his rifle, the 5.56. It's a very small round as far as rifle cartridges go. The .300 Winchester is a strong round. So what I'm getting at here, there is a tremendous difference in the ballistics in these two rounds and these two cartridges. 5.56 was originally, when they developed that round, one of the things they liked about it is that it was such a lower powered round that it would do a lot of wounding in war. And so that would tie up personnel in having to remove wounded soldiers from the field. I mean, it would certainly kill, but it would also do a lot of wounding, and that would tie up personnel. So it kind of had a, two-pronged, I guess, approach in developing it. But the .300 Winchester Magnum, that round is meant to destroy. I've watched probably at least 9 experts, and within that group of 9 were snipers, were ballistic experts, and people trained to analyze bullet wounds and things of that nature. So a full cabinet of people there that would have expertise in looking at these things and being able to give you some opinions. And I saw And I'm not going to show it here because it's graphic, but it's on the internet if you want to see it. I saw a picture of the guy after they had taken him out, a close-up photo of the guy and of his head. Other than some blood around his face and the side here, his head was intact. And I know I hate explaining stuff. I know it's kind of morbid and gross, but I'm trying to get my point across. But what I'm saying, it looks like he had just fell down and some blood had maybe come out of an ear and out of the side of his mouth. Well, what I'm told is he was actually shot here, and the 300 Winchester Magnum come out back here, I guess back of his head. But there's a huge problem with that. If a 300 Winchester Magnum had hit him or any other person in the head, there would have been no recognizable head left. The whole structure of the head would have been gone. It would have been pulverized. Don't take my word on this. Go online. There's plenty of videos where they recreating these situations, and plus snipers that have actually in real world situations used these rounds and firsthand seen what they can do to a person, and many demonstrations online. So what I'm getting at is not adding up. So we're told by Secret Service, I mean, after we finally started getting some answers, we're told by Secret Service that once they were able to get a sight target on this guy, they took him out. The counter sniper took him out with a sniper rifle, which, as far as I know, and I haven't seen anything to contradict that, is a 300 Winchester Magnum, which is the common sniper rifle that the Secret Service teams use. Well, that does add up. I would be willing to bet almost anything that the photo I saw of that guy on the roof after he was dead, after he'd been taken out, he had not been hit in the head with a 300 Winchester Magnum. I don't think any sniper or ballistic experts could get on a stand and seriously tell you that that's the damage a 300 Winchester Magnum does to a human head upon impact. But you got forces, you got just the sheer energy that upon entry of the wound, you get tissue damage, you get a secondary shock wave and a pressure wave and cavitation. I mean, it just like explodes and turns things to almost jelly. There's so much energy in that round. So that's what I've kind of honed in on. And, there's other people looking at different aspects, but I hope that this is investigated, because we can look at the he said, she said, and we may never know who dropped the ball or why the ball was dropped. Probably never. I mean, we don't even know everything about the Kennedy assassination. What, 60, 70 years later? They still haven't released everything. So I'm sure we're not going to get like a full report investigation of what really went down. But we can look at things like physics. This is physics. Physics doesn't lie. And this can be reproduced. This guy that tried to kill former President Trump was not shot in the head by 300 Winchester Magnum, as we're being told by the Secret Service. Now, what does that mean? I don't know. I mean, you can say, okay, you got conspiracy theories or whatever. No, I'm just telling you, he was not killed by a 300 Winchester Magnum round to the head. It was a lower caliber. I suspect it was probably a 5.56, the same round he was using. So then you wonder why, and who actually killed this guy, and why is the Secret Service saying the counter sniper on the roof to Trump's left took this guy out, but he couldn't because he was firing a 300 Winchester Magnum, and we've seen the evidence, we've seen the body, we've seen the guy's head after he's been shot. It doesn't add up. He was not killed with a 300 Winchester Magnum. So who shot him? And why, instead of just saying, no, this sniper didn't get him with the 300 Winchester Magnum, this other guy over here, this other Secret Service or local law enforcement officer took him out with a 5.56 or 243 or whatever, a lower powered round that would not do that catastrophic damage to a human head. But one thing we know for sure, he was not killed with a 300 Winchester Magnum. So I think that's a question that needs to be answered. And unfortunately, it probably never will be. But, you guys look into it. If you see something that I've got wrong, let me know, in the comments. This is what I found, and it's a big question mark for me. And I would really like to know what's going on at that, because like I said, the rest of it we may never figure out, because they're going to point so many fingers and put so many layers of protection and probably classify things that we'll never know, other than what we can just see from the scene and pick up on our own. And this is a very important thing we can look at, because the evidence is already out. We see this, and we know that did not go down as they said it did. So this question needs to be answered. So that's my take on it. Like I said, if you get information that shows something different or sheds a little more insight on it, please comment, let us know. Thanks. See you on the next video.